This guy right here made over $13 billion, or at least his net worth went up over $13 billion after Amazon reported amazing earnings yesterday afternoon. His name is Jeff Bezos, and he's the richest man in the world. So I've been looking around online, reading some articles that have focused on Jeff Bezos and some of his thought process and some of his rules as an entrepreneur. And I want to share with you guys in this video talking more about Jeff Bezos and some of the tips that he has for small-time business owners, for self-employed people, and entrepreneurs alike. Let's talk about it here in this video. The richest man in the world, what does he have to say? What's going on, guys? Patrick here, and today we're talking about the richest man in the world, how he made over $13 billion, or at least his net worth went up over $13 billion in a matter of minutes yesterday after the Amazon earnings. The stock went up 11%, and well, his net worth also went up 11%. He's got millions and millions of shares of Amazon. He's the brainchild behind the Amazon website and everything that Amazon, I guess, has to offer today. So let's talk about some of the tips or some of the ideas, some of the things that Jeff Bezos has shared as an entrepreneur himself, some tips that he has for everyday entrepreneurs out there. One of those tips we'll start out with is having an innovative mindset. So in 2003, Bezos refuted an analogy that likened the dot-com crash to the gold rush. He encouraged people to think of the progression of the internet similar to the early days of the electrical industry, stating that if you think in terms of the gold rush, you'd be pretty depressed right now because the last nugget of gold would be gone. But the good thing with innovation is that there isn't a last nugget. And that's basically talking about how everybody invested in the dot-com bubble and thought they were going to get rich, and then after the dot-com bubble, everybody said, hey, you know, dot-com's done, the internet's done, no one's going to get rich ever again. But Bezos basically said back in 2003 that, hey, there is another gold rush coming. There's another gold rush to come. Number two, he talks about build upon existing infrastructures. So Bezos compared the internet to the electrical industry back in the day and talked about how this idea of building upon this rudimentary industry, which was once the electrical industry, and now today you can see obviously a major difference in technology today versus when electricity first, became a thing. And the idea here is that you're building upon something that already exists. So basically the internet is our infrastructure, and building businesses and building things that use the internet to make people's lives easier and things like that obviously is a better business plan than trying to revolutionize the world with something that's totally out of this world in terms of a idea for a business, right? So building upon existing infrastructures. If we know that a lot of people use Amazon every single day, maybe there's an idea to build a business on top of the Amazon platform. Number three, be a garage startup. Costs low at the beginning. You don't invest a ton of money in things that you don't need. You don't spend a lot of money on an office that really you don't need. So the idea here is just to keep it small, keep it tight, and keep it right when you first start out with your business. Keep the expenses low when you first start out. Number four, avoiding the path of least resistance. In 2010, Bezos reflected on the decision that he took to quit his job and start an online superstore. After much consideration, he took the less safe path to follow his passion, and he said he's proud of that, making that choice. So dedicating all your effort to playing it safe may seem like a smart choice, but it also ensures that you're putting your dreams on hold. So obviously security is important for a lot of people out there, but at the end of the day, if you have a dream, you have a passion, you got to go after it. Number five is don't fear rejection. Bezos says that you will guard your heart against rejection, or will you act when you fall in love? So it's the idea of basically being scared of being rejected, somebody saying no, looking for an opportunity, asking for a job, going to an interview, whatever it is in your life. Don't be afraid of rejection. Take it as it is and learn and move on. Number six here, Bezos talks about sticking it out with the project till the end. Imagine if Bezos would have started Amazon back in the day and he just walked away after everybody told him that Amazon was never going to work, that nobody ever really wanted an online bookstore. Imagine that if you just walked away back in 1994 when you first started Amazon. Just think about the internet in 1994. It was rough. The internet was really rough. And just think about all of the issues and all the things that Bezos went through from day one. If he would have walked away at any point, he would have not have seen Amazon basically take over the world as one of the largest cloud services, as this massive, massive industry here. Basically, Amazon is the world at this point, right? Everybody's buying from Amazon. Everyone's selling on Amazon. It's basically the website to buy and sell things. Number 7, Bezos talks about building your story. It's this idea of having leadership traits, telling people where you've come from, what you've done, and what is the driving factor for you. What makes you different from other people out there who might also be looking for opportunity just like you. So don't be afraid to tell people about your hardships. Don't be afraid to tell people about your accomplishments and wear those on your sleeve. Things go bad, bad things happen in life, but it's really about what you do after those things take place. That Bezos talks about, you gotta start, whatever it is, what your project is, start it now. Start it now. Even if you don't have all of the kinks ironed out, the worst thing you can do is just sit around and wait and watch and wait. And before you know it, somebody else comes up with the same idea that you have. And well, then you're late to the party and you end up missing out on an opportunity. So again, I think this is a really great idea. I battle this as well. A lot of times you'll have really good ideas, but you spend too much time waiting and waiting and waiting and focusing on, tweaking and tweaking. And before you know it, it's too late anyway. So you really, when you have that idea, go for it. Go for that idea. Don't waste any time and start focusing on whatever idea you have today. Number 10 here is that Bezos talks about this idea of regret minimization framework. So you're basically creating a plan, and you're saying, okay, one day when I'm 80 years old, what am I gonna look back on? What am I gonna regret? What am I gonna be proud of? So the idea is you're really just trying to minimize the number of regrets that you have. Like I said earlier, sitting back, waiting, being patient, sometimes it's great. You want to be patient, but there's a lot of opportunities where you end up passing up on those opportunities because you go and you focus too much time on other things that aren't as important, or you put your dream on the sidelines because you're too focused on something that isn't as important. So really, this is a simple idea of just minimizing regret in the future. So when I'm 80 years old, when I look back, I'm going to be like, man, I lived a fun life. I had a lot of fun. I did a lot of things. I basically followed every single dream that I had, and I got everything that I've really ever wanted. And that's the key here, is just understanding that one day we're all going to die. We're all going to sit back on our deathbed one day, and we're going to look back at our lives, and we're going to ask ourselves one simple question. Are we ready to die? Are you ready to die, and do you regret not taking chances, not following up on some business opportunity? You're not following in love. There's so many opportunities out there, and sometimes we get too caught up in the day-to-day that we don't focus on things that really matter. And I think 100% one of those things that really matter in life is finding a passion, finding something that you love, and turning it into a business, a career, whatever it is. You can do so many different things in life, but really Bezos hits it out of the park with this idea of regret minimization framework. So looking at your life and saying, hey, when I'm old, I'm 80 years old, I'm laying on my deathbed, I don't want to look back and say, hey, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I want to sit there smiling ear to ear thinking, it's been a fun ride. It's been a real fun ride. So there it is, some tips from the richest man in the world. Are they good tips? I believe they are good tips. I'm going to spend more time looking into the story behind Jeff Bezos and sharing some inspiration with you guys here on the channel. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment down below. What do you think about Jeff Bezos and obviously some of these ideas here, and how can you apply these ideas to your life today? All right? All right.